Well, good afternoon, everyone, or should I say good evening. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We'll get to the JRC in a moment. Real briefly, disclaimer, if you're unfamiliar with the Stop the Shocks campaign or the campaign against the troubled teen industry, pertinent links are going to be right there in the description box for you. So should you like to go ahead and do a deep dive on either subject, you're definitely going to be able to go ahead and do so. Also, real quick, trigger warnings. First off, this channel is marked not for kids for a reason. I use profanity. I use profanity a lot on this channel, and also when we talk about places like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center or Agape Boarding School for Boys, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with mental health issues and disabled people being tortured and abused. So if you got a child watching the channel that is 16 or younger, parental supervision very much advised. Now, without further ado, we're going to get back right where we were and read the next comment. So, what we got here? What we got? Alright, this one says, I hate the lighting at night on this computer, but I'm not a whiz at this, so. Sorry if I look ghost-like. Alright, this says, as a trained board-certified behavior analyst, these devices have no place in redirecting self-injurious behavior. These devices do not teach a replacement skill and do not address the function reason the behavior is occurring. Thank you! It really is that simple. It does not address the issue. It punishes the behavior that is coming out of us almost involuntarily, out of an instinct, the default setting, as I've told you guys. You can't just drill a separate behavior in there that you want instead and expect that that's what's going to be the new norm. Because it isn't. We can mask when we need to, unfortunately. Anyways, but you can't just randomly replace our natural born reaction to something with a neurotypical reaction by just repetitively making us repeat it and teaching it to us and think that it's going to take over our factory default setting, because it's not going to happen. We're going to use and expend and exhaust all of our mental energy onto creating as much as possible neurotypical mask as we can imagine to muster at the time. Which means, well, you're more exhausted now, even though you're doing better. Please put 2 and 2 together. But I do agree with the device being dehumanizing, barbaric, and lazy. Alright, let's move on to the next one. Alright, so this is the ASAN template, but I'm going to read it again because it's been a minute. I support a ban on electrical stimulation devices intended for self-injurious behavior or aggressive behavior. For decades, people with intellectual and developmental disabilities have been tortured by these devices at the Judge Rotenberg Center. It is the only place in the country that still uses this barbaric and inhumane practice, despite substantial evidence that the shocks are painful and traumatizing to the residents. Alternative positive behavioral supports exist and are proven to be more effective. Please support this ban. Straight and to the point, gotta like it. Alright, so this is going to be a little bit of a long one. I'm going to pre-read it before I start reading the whole thing. Alright, here we go. From Disability Policy Consortium. You know, one of those, but they just don't understand. A, I was that kid. B, I've worked in the service system, also with many thousands of those kids. Try again. says, to whom it may concern, my name is Samantha Fine, and I'm a community organizer at the Disability Policy Consortium located in Boston. I am submitting commentary in support of the federal ban on electrical shock devices, ESD, such as the devices used on disabled individuals at the Judge Rotenberg Center in Canton, Massachusetts. Our organization is part of a broad coalition advocating for legislation to prohibit aversive therapies that cause physical pain or disabled people, such as the use of ESDs. Unfortunately, the Massachusetts state legislation H.180 was recently sent to study, effectively killing the bill. Given the state's inaction, it's imperative that the FDA move forward with the federal ban to stop the use of these devices. This coalition right now is really working on, in particular, the 1987 consent decree that essentially allows the JRC to do whatever the hell they want. They're the ones who've been working for years and years and years to chip away at it, and I'm glad that, because that's busy work, believe it or not. God, that sounded awful. I did not intend that the way that just came out of my mouth. I apologize. But you get what I'm meaning. Alright. Let me go ahead and continue. The use of contingent skin shock devices has been deemed inhumane and ineffective by many experts in the field of psychology and disability rights. Thank you, and I want to thank you also for bringing the fact that there are professionals too, in mass numbers, who are standing against this absolute insanity. It's not just us advocates, but you know what? Even if it was, watch that Andre McCollum's video and tell me something absolutely horrific is not going on in that place. Because if you try to do that and tell me that with your full chest, I'm either going to think you're psychotic or evil. Or psychotic and evil. Or just evil. You know, just saying. Proponents of ESD downplay the inherent dangers of the device constantly, and just completely ignore what has been brought up in regards to injuries from those ER documents, ER photos, and their own video surveillance footage, I might add. You're not seeing what you're seeing. You should trust me, not you. Yeah, not only am I autistic, I'm a jaded autistic from the Shelby state. That's not gonna work. Sorry, not sorry. Claiming that a single shock is no more painful than a bee sting. However, many autistic and disabled people have heightened sensory sensitivity, including me. My threshold for pain is, I don't have one. I feel pain more easily and more intensely than people around me do. That's been the way it's always been since I was a kid. Just saying. The United Nations has twice condemned this practice as torture. Independent experts have been determined that ESDs pose serious dangers, including burns, neuropathy, PTSD, anxiety, and depression. Moreover, your own organization, the FDA, determined in 2020 that devices presented a substantial risk of injury. Now, where I left off, because, yeah. Even more troubling, these devices are known to malfunction. We have documentation on that from the 2006 New York State Department of Special Education that went out in 2006. You'll find it on Autistic Hoya's massive archive in its entirety, and we've also gone over it on this channel. Proponents claim that ESDs are necessary as an absolute last resort to stop self-injurious or aggressive behavior, a claim which we also know to be categorically false. In a hearing last November, former JRC attendee Jennifer Masamba testified that while on the device, she was shocked for minor behaviors such as involuntary body tics, shocked while asleep, and shocked due to staff abuse. Video evidence confirms Andre McCollum received 31 shocks simply for refusing to take off his coat. 2 JRC residents were shocked over 100 times, 76 times each. due to a hoax call. Matthew Israel, founder of the JRC who patented the device, was forced to resign after attempting to destroy video evidence related to that specific incident. This is a significant research that shock devices and other forms of aversive conditioning are not effective in creating long-term behavioral change. In fact, the use of ESDs can exacerbate the original behaviors they claim to treat. This cruel irony is highlighted by Mosin Boyce, a former JRC attendee who endured the ESD. In a recent interview, Boyce states, "The only reason why I got so much more aggressive, so much more attitude, so much more wanting to just destroy stuff is because I'm in a place where I can't be a kid." Folks, there are a lot of us that feel like that. We're never, ever, under any circumstances allowed to be a kid. A lot of that stems from ABA and their weird prohibitions that normal kids do not have, but they insist that they behave a certain way because that's what their books tell them. Well, as a major bibliophile, let me tell you, sometimes you really do gotta get your head out of that book and take a real hard look at real life, because that's not how neurotypicals act. You are holding us to a standard to be like neurotypicals by means that will make us even more of a othered target than we had been previously. Because the very formal ways of action that you teach us are not normal. They don't look right. Okay? And the NTs know it. They know it by instinct, and they jump every time. Believe me. I was horrifically bullied until I took my oak and metal desk and threw it into a concrete wall to the back of the classroom. Then that crap kind of simmered down a little bit. It was more along the lines of "don't mess with the crazy girl" that I cultivated. Alright, there's significant reason, we just read that. If a non-disabled person was involuntarily subjected to an electric shock device, it would be a criminal offense. The fact that ESDs are permitted to be used on disabled bodies is discriminatory and violence of disabled people's civil liberties. Disabled people are entitled to the same standard of care and equal protections under the law enjoyed by the rest of the non-disabled population. I thank you for your time and strongly urge you to take swift action and move forward with the ban of this device. And folks, she didn't just do that. She put in the receipts. You gotta love it. You know how I feel about my receipts. For real, though. Alright, we're going to read one more comment. Well, probably a few more. Excuse me. Alright, this one states, "I am in strong support of banning the contingent electric shock. There are so many better ways of treating challenging behavior." Use that shock device on me, you're going to think challenging behavior. Because Hulk smash. Hulk's about to smash a lot. Alright. This one says, "I support the ban of electrical stimulation devices for self-interest or aggressive behavior. This is inhumane and cruel. Please do continue to go off." Alright, we're going to go down here a little bit. Here we go. Obviously, this is the ASAN template. Very, very useful when you don't got a lot of time. Okay, I love this one, guys. I love this one with my whole soul. Let's read it, okay? The fact that this hasn't happened already is quite ridiculous. Abuse should be criminalized, and this should have happened decades ago. ESDs for SIVs. Really? Let's put down a scenario. I want to harm myself. Okay, we'll stop you. How? He said, by harming you before you can do it yourself. Gee whiz! Such a stupid idea. Must be why the U.S. has it be legal. Only in Massachusetts, my friend. Only in Massachusetts. And if you can do me the favor of getting me the hell out of here, I deeply appreciate it. Or at least send positive vibes in my general direction. I could really use them. And on that dark note, folks, we're going to go ahead and close on out for this one. It's getting towards dinner time, and the hanger is very real. We don't get very many views on this channel, and the few we do get to get removed from time to time. Please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, don't forget to hit the comments, and please, folks, make sure that you are still set up to receive notifications. Tomorrow we're going to be coming in with a new episode of the Down the Rabbit Hole series, and on Sunday we'll be coming with episode 2 of the Snake Oil Salesman series, and I don't want you all to be missing anything. I appreciate your time, and as always, we here at Smelling Tea hope you have a good one. I will see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye, everyone.